Welcome back. Today we will be talking about entrepreneurship. We always get so many questions after the segment of young and industrious, and today we had a fantastic story, and we have in studio Professor Washington Okeo. He is the Vice Chancellor of Management University of Africa. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. I want to first ask you about recently we saw you in State House and receiving the charter. What does this mean for the university, and what changes are we now seeing in the university?
Thank you very much, Cynthia, and say good evening to the viewers.
Yes.
I'm happy to be in KBC tonight. And going back to the question that you've asked about the charter. The charter is, I would call it the epitome that every university aims to achieve.
Yes.
And it is a sign of maturity for a university. Although the journey towards attaining a charter is not like a walk in the park, it's actually very, very tough.
Yes.
The universities that take several years, over 20 years or so. Our university, the Management University of Africa, took about 12 years to attain the charter status. But importantly, before a university attains a charter, there's what we call the letter of interim authority, which a university is granted by the Commission for University Education to allow a university to operate as a university, admit students and teach them and graduate them. Operating with a letter of interim authority is like in the old system we used to have what we call the Harambe secondary schools.
Yes.
That is the foundation of the secondary schools at that time. As a university operating with a letter of interim authority, there are limitations. And there's a lot of supervision that comes from the Commission for University Education, which is the regulator of university education in Kenya. In order to achieve a charter status, a university must demonstrate that it is capable of standing alone on its own as an independent university.
Yes.
And this requires that a university develops a main campus. According to the regulations, the main campus is supposed to be on a 50-acre piece of land at minimum. It can be more. And indeed, our university, we have over 80 acres that we have developed our main campus on. In terms of developing the main campus, therefore, a university must put into place what we call a huge administration block, where the administration of the university programs and activities are being done from. In addition, there must be a library with well equipped with all the books and all the reading materials that are required by students. There need to be adequate lecture rooms. There need to be a student center. There need to be student, sports facilities and other recreational facilities. And there should be a clinic where students can go to get treatment in case they require. So all that has to be put in place before a university can get a charter.
Yes.
And of course, there have to be adequate programs being offered by the university at various levels. And there have to be commensurate number of lecturers, qualified lecturers, in terms of those who are qualified with PhD, and those who are qualified at associate professorship level and also at full professorship level.
Yes.
So those have to be adequate, and there are standards which the Commission has put in place to ensure that when they come to do inspection for out of charter, that all these must be adhered to, and that they must be up to the right standards as have been prescribed by the Commission.
Yes.
So that is basically the bare minimum.
Yes.
Now, getting a charter, therefore, means that a university has achieved all this as set by the Commission. And for the Commission to ascertain that this has been achieved by a university, the Commission does what we call technical inspection.
Yes.
And in our university, the Management University of Africa, we inspected 4 times. The first inspection was in 2015, and we were told, a few other things to do. Then the second inspection was 2018, And again, the commission made recommendations for us to implement.
Yes.
Then we implemented those, and come 2020, they again came for another inspection, and still recommended a few things to be improved. Then come 2022, they came for the inspection, and this time it was the final inspection.
Yes.
They found that we had already met all the requirements to be awarded the charter.
Yes.
So it was just a matter of time.
Yes.
Depending on the president's diary and other factors, then they would tell us when they would award us the charter. So this day came on May 2nd, 2024, when now we were called to State House to be awarded the charter.
Yes.
Award of charter is, or rather the charter itself is a document which shows the status of the university, and shows the governance structure of the university, shows the programs of the university, shows the staffing of the university, shows the facilities that the university has, and also shows the commitment that a university has to be able to provide learning services and other services to its students or stakeholders who are the students. And so that is one. The other item in the charter is what we call a MACE. A MACE is like the authority of a university. It's what gives the university the authority to be able to graduate students. Every official function of the university cannot be done if the MACE is not there. So that is the second thing. The third thing is the logo of the university, which gives the university its identity. So that when somebody sees that logo, then it knows this is Management University of Africa. And then the fourth one is the seal of the university. So those are the items which were granted to the Management University of Africa on May 2nd. And so that set now the pace for us now to move from the letter of interim authority status to the fully chartered university status. Now, the charter itself comes with a number of things to the university. First of all, it comes with authority. The university becomes, now has its own authority to operate as a university. And then secondly, the charter comes with independence. Before the charter is awarded, like I said, the university has to be regularly inspected by the commission to check whether they are still, maintaining the status according to the standards. But once the university is chartered, then it is independent now, no longer under the direct watch of the commission, although it must adhere to the standards. Then thirdly, there is the autonomy. The university becomes autonomous from all other institutions. It can, do its own affairs, does its own program development, writing, and teaching of the students. It can compare with other universities in terms of partnerships and collaborations, but it doesn't have to. It
runs independently.
Yeah, exactly. It does so very, very independently, makes its own independent, decisions.
Yes, you've been in the education system for a very long time, and certainly preparing young people for the marketplace. But over the years, I'm sure you have noticed a lot of changes that has been going on in the job sector. What are the challenges that young people are facing at the moment as they get into the marketplace or trying to get jobs?
That's a very important question, Cynthia. Indeed, there's so many challenges that the young people are getting. One thing we've noticed is that we churn out so many graduates at the end of each year. And they go out there in the job market, they look for jobs, they don't get them. Some have looked for jobs for 10 years or even more, and they still don't get jobs. So they get extremely frustrated. There must be something which is not going right somewhere. And having discussed with the industry players, the people who own businesses and so on and so forth, they tell us that the graduates that you are giving, some of the graduates you are giving us, not all, they are not fit, to work straight off. They have to spend some money to train them further, to impart what we call, soft skills to enable them to be able to work in the industry. And so there's that disconnect. And that disconnect needs to be addressed. it comes as a result of, first of all, the upbringing, because the education at the university level alone cannot shape a student.
Yes.
That has to start from much earlier on, when the student goes to primary school, goes to secondary school or high school, then later on joining university. So it's a whole, process. And I'm glad that the government has introduced the CBC, kind of concept. That is a competency-based curriculum, which is now going to start imparting practical skills to the students at a much lower level. And so as the students, mature and come to the university level, they already have the practical skills, they already have the proper pathways which they are specialized in, which they are capable in. So we just pick them up when they're already ready, to be now given much higher knowledge at a much higher level. And we think that with that in place, that is going to improve the employability of students. The other thing that universities must do, and our university is doing this, is to be able to impart soft skills, to the students, alongside the actual knowledge or specialized knowledge that they are learning, that they are being taught in the university. We need to prepare them, and we are preparing our students at the Management University of Africa in terms of, imparting additional soft skills, which are not necessarily specialist knowledge. Special soft skills, for example, ICT, for example, leadership, for example, how to work, in a work setting, so that when they go out there, they can be able to, start working straight away. One of the ways we do this is through industrial attachment. We make sure that we attach our students to the industry, and it is a must for every student, graduating from Management University of Africa to have undergone industrial attachment, and this helps them get exposed to the real working environment, so that they are able to relate, the theoretical knowledge that they have learned in the universities to how to apply it, in practice when they go out there. The other approach that we use is what we call community service. Our students must go through community service before they can be able to graduate. It's a must. And the idea of being, able to do community service is related to giving the students the opportunity to be aware that there are people out there in the society who are not very well endowed with either resources or are not in situations where they can earn their livelihood as they would like to, live their livelihoods as they would like to. So they go to do community service in places like hospitals, in places like children's homes, in places places where the people out there are not very okay in the society per se. Then, in addition to that, we also train our students to be job creators, to be creative and innovators through entrepreneurial, ideas. And how we do this is in our university, literally every program, every area of specialization that a student does, they must do entrepreneurship. So all the students in the university take a course on entrepreneurship.
And how ready is one after just finishing university to actually go out and start a business?
Yes, that is exactly what I was leading to, Cynthia, because in entrepreneurship, there is the process of creativity and innovation, and when students do creativity, and innovate, their own products, their own businesses, and so on, they learn how to create their own businesses, and that is the process that we go through in the university. We have the Innovation and Incubation Center. In the Innovation and Incubation Center, we train students on how to nurture the ideas that they may have. And we take them through the process of idea creation, idea generation, into creating prototypes, into modeling those prototypes and testing them within the university. and before, testing them out in the real commercial environment.
Yes.
And we found that this helps the students themselves have the need or acquire the ability to be able to create, products. And there are students who have come up with very interesting innovations.
Yes.
In fact, one of our students recently showcased his innovation in Dubai.
Yes.
Yeah, in Dubai, and he won some money from that, showcasing his innovation in Dubai.
Yes.
And that innovation is currently being commercialized. It's a payment system,
yes,
which basically rivals the M-Pesa
yes,
sort of payment system.
Yes. Yes.
And so those are the kind of innovations that come out of the university. And what we have realized is that students are much more interested in coming up with their own, products, with their own companies, creating their own jobs.
Yes.
Because they're aware that, in a lot of sense, several students graduate, but then they end up, looking for jobs in vain and for a very long time.
So now they have an alternative.
Exactly.
Looking at the marketplace, how would you say IT and especially now AI has changed the marketplace?
Yes. ICT has actually come a long way in the marketplace and also in the education system in this country. ICT came in as an area of specialization earlier on, where ICT was sitting somewhere on a corner somewhere, and businesses and business people would go and pick ICT and employ it in their organizations. But with the time, ICT changed. Now the people who are the so-called users of ICT are now the people who are driving, ICT in their organizations. Yeah. So much so that ICT has become part and parcel of the business itself. Businesses cannot do without ICT.
Yes.
And in that regard, therefore, it is important to ensure that students learn ICT as part of their courses. And in our university, the Management University of Africa, we have our students, learn ICT as part of their courses, even if they're not doing ICT, even if their courses are not related to ICT. They do courses then with ICT.
Yes.
In other instances, we also offer short ICT trainings. For example, International Computer Driving License, or the so-called ICDL. We have that. We have software development courses. Yeah. We have networking courses. We have computer hardware maintenance and repair courses that we have alongside, the areas of specialization that our students, learn or specialize in their degree programs. Artificial intelligence, you mentioned artificial intelligence, is an old thing, but has just blossomed all of a sudden in the recent past, although it has been there for a very long time. And it's a revolutionary sort of idea around how ICT can be used, both in the academics and also in the industry. For example, in the universities, students are using artificial intelligence to do their projects, to write their reports, to write their projects and their thesis and so on and so forth. At first, it seemed like artificial intelligence is coming in sort of in a way that it may not enable the student to use his own original ideas, to do all this. But used in the right format and in the right way, it can be a very, very useful tool, to write the reports, to write projects, to do research, and so on and so forth. And the way one can do that, and we encourage our students to do that, is to basically use it to get the outline so that the student knows. Because ChatGPT, for example, artificial intelligence component of ChatGPT is very good in generating the outline, so that you can know the various areas and topics and subheadings and so on of a particular area of research that you're doing. And then it generates some content which is not very well researched, should I say, because it doesn't have references within it.
So they have to research.
Exactly. So once the student can pick up, and even lecturers, once they can now pick up the the subheadings and the headings that have been generated in ChatGTP, then they can use that now to go out and research in books, or even design research which they can do in the field.
Yes.
To collect data and sort of analyze and then write the full report thereafter.
Yes.
So it's really a question of how the university guides the learners on how to use artificial intelligence concepts and also the ChatGTP component, which is more relevant in academic setting. The other aspects of artificial intelligence which are used to in the daily lives, okay? But those are not so well developed in this country as yet.
Yes. Thank you so much, Professor Washington Okel, for joining us today. Now, you did hear it is about preparing the students for the marketplace, and it's changing every single day, especially with ICT and even the economies of different nations, including right here in Kenya, where we have been seeing a lot of young people who cannot find jobs want to start their own businesses. Up next, we will be having sports.